Hello guys, Uncle Sam here. Today's story will be told by my friend, Gloria. How she got kidnapped by people who sell human parts, and how she got out alive. Gloria, over to you.
Hello guys. My name is Gloria, I am from Zimbabwe. I and my best friend Marietta applied to study in another African country as international students, and we were given admission. Marietta and I have been friends since we were kids, although she is originally from Tanzania because her father is Tanzanian and her mother is from Zimbabwe, so they have been living in Zimbabwe all their lives. They lived next door to us, so we practically grew up together. We attended same church, same school. We were even in the same class, from primary till we finished secondary school, and we have always had each other's back, so we vowed to go to the same university. It was Marietta's idea for us to study in a different country, because being the lively party type, she felt our families limited how much fun we had, so by being far away from home, we could live our lives without anybody's judgment. I wanted us to study in Harare, but she convinced me, so we both applied at the same university in another African country. Marietta is the only female child in her family. Her father, who had businesses both in Tanzania and Zimbabwe, gives her anything she wants, so her father bought her a car to make life easier in school. Fast forward to the day of the kidnap.
Hello guys, before we get deeper into this story, please subscribe. We want to get to 50,000 subscribers before the end of this year.
Fast forward to the day of the kidnap. We had just finished our 300 level final exams. I was really looking forward to going home to Zimbabwe because my cousin was getting married, and she made me the chief bridesmaid and Marietta was one of the bridal maids. Due to Marietta's popularity in school, her friends who are in 400 level and were celebrating their final day in school invited us to a party. She was so excited about the party. I didn't feel like going, my spirit wasn't feeling like outing, so I tried to talk her out of it, but she refused and said, it's an opportunity to see her friends for the final time, before life scatter everyone. That evening, I was in the hostel with my course mate, Gift. Gift is another international student from Nigeria. We only became close in 200 level and she also likes parties. She came to see me, and we were talking about the long holiday. As we were talking, Marietta walked in and asked me why am I not ready for the party. I checked the time and it was around 7:30 in the evening. I told her it is too late for us to go, but she insisted that the party will only start at 8 p.m. and it's an all-night party, so I sluggishly got dressed and Gift jumped in and asked if she can come. Marietta said it's fine, the more the merrier. So we left the school hostel around few minutes past 8 in Marietta's car. It was already dark. As we got into the main road, there was a hold up and it was really slow. By 7:30 we were still on that road. I was telling them we need to go back. I didn't know why my spirit was off, I just felt like resting that night. But Gift and Marietta said no, we already told them we are coming. As we were talking whether to go back or continue, Marietta received a call from her friend, asking where we were, and then they told us to take a different route that is faster but a lonely road. And quickly we left the main busy road and went toward the road they suggested. Before we got into the road, we saw a bus with few passengers take that direction, so we followed behind. It was a lonely road with potholes, and cars hardly take that road. There was bushes on both sides of the road, you couldn't see any other thing but the bushes. The bus was the only vehicle in front of us. Suddenly the driver of the bus stopped in the middle of the road, but nobody came down. When we looked, we couldn't see any car in front of them. Marietta, who is very impatient, couldn't wait behind the bus. She just assumed that the driver of the bus must have a flat tire from the potholes or something. We didn't take a second to think that something else might be wrong, so we tried to overtake the bus. As we went on the side to overtake the bus, we saw 3 men with guns pointing at the bus asking them to come down. Already we have moved to the side. As they saw us, one of the guys ran to our window and pointed the gun at Marietta and asked her to switch off the engine and come down. We were all in shock. As we came down from the car, the guy pointed the gun at us and the other 2 guys went and opened the door to the bus and everyone came down. They first searched the bus and our car for valuables and they took our phones. There were 6 people in the bus. A woman and her daughter who should be 11 years or so. A young man in his 20s and his girlfriend. An elderly man that looks like he was in his late 50s, and the bus driver. They told us to follow them into the bush, that if anybody moves or runs they will shoot. The first guy led the way and the other 2 followed behind us, with guns pointing at us. We were all terrified. We walked for over 1 hour heading deeper into the bushes. We got to a place that there was water, like a pond. It looked deep but it wasn't so wide, so we had to go around. One of the guys behind us got distracted and was looking on the ground like he stepped on something. Then the driver of the bus, who was standing in front of him, pushed him down and ran backward to the direction we were coming from. The other guy chased after him and shot him at the back. He fell and they dragged his body and threw him inside the water. Then the one leading the way said, "Look, we are ready to kill anyone that tries to escape. We don't mind killing all of you here right now. If you behave, you might live, but if you don't, we will not hesitate to kill you. Do you understand?" We answered yes. By then the small girl has started crying. Her mother tried to calm her down but it was not working. The leader asked one of the boys to tie her mouth. Her mother begged but the guy leading punched her on the face and she fell. The old man started begging them and he was told to shut up or they will shoot him next. They finally managed to tie the little girl's mouth and we continued moving. By then, the mother of the girl was bleeding from her nose due to the punch. We walked for another 2 hours. It was very dark. Then we arrived at a small camp in the middle of the bush. We saw 2 young guys at one far end of the camp, digging a big hole to bury the human parts that was heaped next to them. That was when it dawned on us that these guys are not just kidnappers, but organ sellers. Their leader's name is Jack. We had him making a call telling someone over the phone how many people they captured and ask him what part he wants and what age. So we knew we are going to die. I wish I had listened to my heart. We could have been in school. After a while, the 2 young guys that were digging the hole to bury people came and opened the door where they kept us. One stood at the door pointing a gun at us, while the other one came in with food and holding a lamp. He dropped the food on the floor and started untying us. As he came to me, I saw his face. It is Tony, our schoolmate. He used to have a crush on me, till his father died in a car accident and nobody could pay his fee. And since then, he does piece jobs here and there to get money, for school fee and all. He even sells newspaper sometimes at the bus stop for money. As he untied my mouth, he was shocked to see us. He acted like he didn't know me and said, I should not say a word, he will come back later. The other boy that looks like a student, with his girlfriend, his name was Alan, and his girlfriend's name was Queen. As we were eating, the leader came in and told Alan to follow them. He cried and was pleading but they took him out by force, and Jack, their leader, ordered the guy watching at the entrance with his gun to tie us up. He did, and left with the light. We were in darkness, we couldn't sleep and our mouths were tied, so we couldn't speak or communicate with each other. Marietta was just silent, she didn't make noise. While Gift kept crying all through, I didn't know whether to have hope that Tony will come back. My mind was all over the place, thinking if I will ever see my family again. Later that night, around 1 a.m., the door opened quietly, then someone sneaked in. It was Tony. It was so dark we couldn't see anything. He whispered my name, and I made a slight noise, then he crawled to where I was, and managed to untie my mouth. He asked me how did we end up here, and I told him. He said his friend, the other young boy, has been working with the gang, that he always meets the boy at the motor park. So it was the boy that told him about the deal, and brought him to join them. That he didn't know they were kidnappers, and once he got to their boss, there was no going back. That the only way out is that they will have to kill him. So, I asked him what is this place. He said that the gang builds small camps, once in every 3 to 4 months, in different areas, and carry out their operations. Once they are done, they will leave the camp and never come to that location for 1 year. I asked who are they? What do they want from us? He said they deal in human trafficking and also sell human organs, that before they go for an operation, they will wait and gather list of human parts needed by top rich men in the country. They will set up a camp and kidnap people. Once they have enough people, they will kill them, sell their parts and disappear for 3 to 4 months. Till they gather another list of organs needed, before they will strike again. So I asked what of Alan, the boy they took from the room. He said he is dead, they needed his heart alive and his kidneys, and it was urgent. They were to deliver it in the morning, but the first people they captured last night, there was no boy of that age among them. Queen started crying. He told her, if you guys want to live here alive, you must just keep quiet. Then he untied our mouths. The elderly man among us said he is a retired police officer, that they have been looking for this gang for years before he retired, but it seems they don't operate in the same place for years. So he asked Tony, how connected are these guys? Tony said, I am new, I don't know much. But most of the powerful men in this country, and even as far as the head of police and top politicians, are connected from the calls the boss makes. The old policeman managed to untie our hands. Tony said, if we want to escape, that we should run southward. That we will get to the beach, and that beach will be our way out. Because if we are there by morning, all of us will be killed and our body parts sold. He gave the old man, we called him Baba Muthuni, the small touchlight. We all thanked him, so he showed us the way and left. It was so dark we could hardly see the grass properly. Baba Muthuni led the way, and we followed. We were 7 in numbers that left the camp that night. It was me, Marietta, Gift, Queen, Baba Muthuni, and the woman and her little daughter. As we were sneaking out, the little girl tripped on something and fell. There was a loud noise. All the guys woke up and shouted, who is there? Immediately, Baba Muthuni carried the little girl on his shoulder and we started running. In the camp, they were just 4 of them, as their boss had gone to deliver the parts in town. As we ran, they started chasing us. Baba Muthuni was carrying the little girl and was leading the way. But our bodies were weak from being tied to a place all night. One of the guys caught up to us as Baba Muthuni dropped the girl and tried to fight him off, but he was not a match for the guy and was killed. The chase continued. For some reason, they could not shoot at us, because it will create a loud noise, and people might suspect something and call the police. So all they did was chase us with long knives and sticks. As we ran, I tripped and fell. Marietta ran back to help me. As she pulled me up, one of the guys stabbed her from the back. The last word she said to me was, "Run, my friend, tell my family I am sorry." She held the man that stabbed her and they fell together. By now I was separated from others because no one waited for me. I ran for a little while and hid myself in the bushes. I was tired and could hardly breathe. I heard a loud shout from Queen. She was shouting, "Help me, somebody help me." Then I heard her scream very loud, and that was it. The guy that was chasing me stood and was looking round. It dawned on me that Marietta was dead. I cried and prayed to God at the same time to help me. As I was still hiding, looking at him, he came toward where I was and stood near a tall tree. I heard him shout, "Snake! Snake!" He called his boys. A snake had just bit him just around where I was hiding. As he was shouting, I started running again. I could see the beach ahead, so I ran as fast as I could and came out in an open land. There were small houses near the beach. I ran to one of the houses. The people living there were already asleep. As I pushed the door in, they woke up and switched on the light. It was an old woman and her husband. They belonged to a white garment church, so I told them what was going on, and they hid me and switched off the lights. I was there till the next morning. I cried all through the night. My best friend Marietta died because of me. The next morning, around 10 a.m., the man and his wife came and gave me bread to eat, and I told them everything that happened. They called the police, and they said the God I served is very strong. They gave me a white garment to wear and asked me to join them for prayers that morning. I was scared to come outside, but they assured me everything was fine. So we went to their church. It was a white garment church, like I said, near the beach. They were singing and dancing. I sat there in shock, looking at the beach. Then I saw the little girl walking by the beachside crying. I ran out of the church and went to her. She recognized me and we hugged. She said her mother died in the bushes and she doesn't know what to do. As we were talking, I saw Gift calling us and waving at us from far. We ran to meet with her and we all hugged and cried. Out of 9 of us that got kidnapped, it was only the 3 of us that made it out alive. Marietta gave her life for me, and I will forever be grateful for that. Later on, the police came and discovered the camp and all the bodies that were buried, and Marietta's body. This is my story.
Tell me, was the group ever arrested? What happened to Tony? As I was asking, her phone rings. She said, "My husband is here to pick me up." A handsome man came into the restaurant and we greeted. I introduced myself as Uncle Sam, the storyteller, and he introduced himself as Mr. T. I said, "Mr. T, like T for Tony. You are Tony, the same Tony?" He replied with a smile, "Yes, I am, the Mr. Tony." Story ends. Moral of this story: if you feel uncomfortable about something, listen to your heart. No matter what others are saying, it might save your life. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.